everyone. Welcome to another episode of our Tea Talk with Goodness Usman, your number one real estate talk show in Africa. And that's thanks to each and every one of you who keep watching every Sunday, 4 p.m. when we upload a new episode. Yay! I'm super excited because we are in another episode on our Ask a Lawyer segment. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me introduce my special guest. Let him introduce himself again. I know somebody asked me, goodness, why do you ask your guests to always introduce yourself? Well, Yoruba says, "Ẹnu onípọ̀n láti ń gbọ́ pọ̀n."
Yeah, I think I really don't know the word, but it sounds like same.
Well, Yoruba says, "Ẹnu onípọ̀n láti ń gbọ́ pọ̀n." I hope I pronounced that well. You, the Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Yorubas in the house, ẹ jọ̀ọ́, correct me if I'm wrong. So please introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me. My name is Emmanuel Ajayi, your property lawyer.
I'm yours truly, Goodness Usman, your beautiful host, yes, and also the queen of landlord making. Now, in the last episode, we started to dive deeply into deed of assignment. And the previous one, we talked about contract of sale and we talked about deed of assignment. Now, because we didn't want it to be too long, we decided to take a break on that. And then, so this is the part 2. So before we go further down into the conversation of today, please, I want to quickly say to you that you should please send in your questions. Send in your question. It's called Ask a Lawyer segment. So without the question, what is the lawyer going to come and be doing? Yeah. So please send in your question. Thank you to those who have been sending in their question. We will treat them. And that's one of the reasons why he will keep coming and offering this pro bono services to us at Nigeria Realty 24/7. So without further ado, let's go quickly into the ritual of the day. Peradventure, this is your very first time of coming across the show, we want to say welcome to the family. We're excited about you. We're happy you're here. Thank you. If you're yet to subscribe, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button now and share this video. Don't be stingy. Come on. Yes, come on. Share it. There, yeah. And turn on your notification button so that you'll be among the very first of people who get to know every time when we upload a new episode. So we have a ritual that we perform on the show, which is wherever you are watching us from, Canada, US, Europe, UK, Dubai, anywhere, please ensure that you're comfortable. Grab yourself a glass of wine, a glass of water, a glass of juice, whatever rock your boat, or maybe you're like me, grab yourself a cup of green tea or beverage, or maybe you're like him, grab yourself a cup of coffee. Yes. As a lawyer have introduced coffee into this segment, which is okay as well. So we blend it together. I know we have a lot of coffee takers on the show. So how about we go ahead and perform our rituals? Are you ready?
Very much.
Go. Okay. Green tea versus
When?
coffee. Ooh. Well, the 3 sip is good for a green tea. Oh my god. Ooh, the ginger in this tea. It's good for a green tea, but I don't know about a sip or 3 sip for your coffee. How does it feel?
Very well. Very, very nice. Yeah.
Udebe.
Yeah, udebe.
All right, so like I've asked, I hope you are comfortable and you're ready to further learn and unlearn. I'm reading your comments, so he's also on the page. He's reading and reading. All right, so we're gonna get right into today's question because we still have a lot of questions. Like I said, the previous episode we did it in segment, and right here we're going to pick up from the section C. In sections, by the way. So talking about deed of assignment, you have defined what the deed of assignment mean. We're going into rights and obligations, right? We did rights and obligations, and then right now we're going to be talking about other parts of this deed of assignment. So my number one question to you is, how does a deed of assignment affect the property title, and what are the requirements for registering a deed of assignment? So it's
Okay.
like a two in one question.
Question. Okay, I get that right. So it impacts deed of assignment impacts title in the sense that it it makes the title to be verifiable on the new holder, which is the new assignee. So deed of assignment comes to say, okay, this title has been taken from this assignor to this assignee. So the impact is it makes the assigning name to be verifiable on the title, not the assigner anymore. So that is like the impact. And for the second question, the requirement for registering. Okay, to register a deed of assignment, you're going to need a well drafted and executed 3 copies of the deed of assignment. Yeah, and you as well need a survey plan. I mean, with the one that is lodged with the evidence of the lodgement. You're going to need that. And you also need a copy of your identity.
Okay.
Yeah, that's also, and you'll be paying for the consent fee, you pay for the registration fee, and upon assessment, you also pay for the stamp duty. So, having paid for all of this, your deed will be duly registered and lodged in the registry.
3 different payments.
Yeah, that's like the MDS.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so let me ask you, if I don't register my deed, what does it mean?
Well, when you do register a deed, it becomes unverifiable. You understand? It becomes unverifiable, and in a way, a registered deed can still be a good root of title. You understand? Because it is registered. You understand? So
in a
that's
case,
basically.
okay, thank you. In a case where I buy a property from a company and they drafted the deed. In the previous episode, we were talking about how you can't alter. It's for the person that drafted that has to do the correction and complete the process, right?
Yeah.
Now, I buy this property from this company and they drafted the deed. I've gone through it with my lawyer and then we've signed the deal. Is it my responsibility to go register the deed or the responsibility of the property owner who sold the property?
Okay, yeah. After perfection of property acquisition, the onus lies in the buyer to do everything.
Oh.
Yeah. Every necessary you want to pay for anything, then it is for the new buyer that pays. But some cases we still have these corporate bodies, they have their arrangement. Then sometimes they may say, okay, documentation, something amount of money. When you pay that, they already have maybe their scheme officer who they use or how they do their thing. So if they are well structured in that part that they can perfect your title after purchase, they can do that.
When you say perfect title, you're talking about registered.
Yeah. Whatever title is coming from there, you go there to perfect it in your own name. So it is verifiable on the person's name.
So, but the onus lies on the buyer.
The
assignee is responsible
for all of
registering their own deed.
Yes.
So if I buy from a company and I don't have to.
No, they don't hold
any
you
trouble. They don't exactly under the law. They don't. I'm the one that's supposed to go register. But if they did it, that's just that they are more strong.
Yeah, or if they agree to say they are going to do that. Subject to maybe a payment from you.
Oh, okay. But then, from the processes of registering that you explained, they obviously cannot do it on your behalf because you need to bring.
Yeah, you of course, if they are doing it for you, maybe because they have their own people and all of that, you will submit the requirements for them. And
sometimes, most of the time, you already have it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for clearing that. And then you mentioned that copy of the survey that has been lodged.
Yeah.
So when I'm in the process of registering my deed and I realized that my survey was not lodged, what do I do?
You cannot build something on nothing. So lodgement is like a condition precedent to be able to register. So you must make sure the survey you lodged it. I mean, perfect that first.
So before I go for the process of registering my deed, I should first of all ensure that my survey has been lodged.
Yeah, ensure it is a record copy survey you have, not just
not a provisional.
Provisional, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. So you guys have heard him. if you had bought a property and you need to know what is the situation of your survey, a lot of the time, these surveys are not lodged surveys. That's the truth. Because if you look at some of the amounts paid, first of all, and some other companies they charge the amount for lodged copy, but it's not lodged. So that's another thing you need to check in. And who does that basically?
They are a licensed surveyor.
So you need to get, this is not even something your realtor, you know, some people expect that realtor does the job of a surveyor,
No.
does the job of a lawyer,
No.
probably the job of a doctor, no?
How now?
I'm just wondering.
No,
sometimes.
even a lawyer cannot do the job of a surveyor.
And so,
But these are professionals.
so please, yes, we understand when we see we have learned and still learning certain things. So we understand. Oh, the survey they give you is not lodged or whatever. But then the onus is lying on the assignee to check,
all of that.
go and say, oh, my surveyor, go and check if this is lodged, and if it's not lodged, lodge it, and then you now go ahead to register your deed as well. I know that a lot of people are exposed more when they want to start building. That's when they now get exposed to some of these things. Okay, I'm moving on to the next question. The other addendum questions. Now, this is the real next question. Okay, so can a deed of assignment be used to transfer ownership of a property, hold up, that is still under construction or development? Now, let me break it up. You know, we sell a lot of property, right? And now construction is still ongoing. So, what happens? Can you transfer?
Okay, yeah. My answer to that would be yes. You can transfer, or you transfer ownership, or you can, execute a deed of assignment for off-plan project, or the one that is close to, the one that is close to completion. But ideally, or I would say it is wise not to do so.
Okay.
On the part of both parties, because in the contract of sales, there are rights, obligations expected, or that both parties have covenants that they are going to do. So let's take, for instance, as a developer, your buyer says he's going to spread payment for the period of 6 months, right? Which you don't have a confirmation or assurance of such yet, but you went ahead to draft and execute a deed. What if the person breaches all of the obligations in the contract of sale? Then how do you try to now come out of that? So I feel it is not safe. And also on the part of the buyer, you should not execute or admit or agree with a developer that, okay, you've transferred all the ownership of a property or a house that is not completed. What gives you the assurance that the person is going to complete the project as signified in the deed? Because of course, when you're writing the deed in your schedule or your reciter, you have to express all of these things. Okay, this property, so. So you already say a 4-bedroom duplex has been, transferred, all of the ownership to you. But then in reality, it is still off plan, it's still like 50% close to completion. So I will say it is just safe to ensure all of the duties and obligations in the contract of sales are discharged absolutely before you further say you want to execute a deed in respect of same transaction.
So
yeah, ideally should be no.
So that question, it's a no.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, nobody will even draft a deed of assignment without the completion of the project. Like what you just explained. Human beings are very, very funny. Yeah. They might not fulfill their obligation, there might be defaults, prices might change based on default.
Economic factor, I love it.
Do you understand? Anything can happen. So yes, please, why did I ask this question? It's for those of you who say, oh, hey, Shipe have agreed that I'll finish paying in so time. I want to quickly do something. Can they draft the deed for me so that I can use the deed for Kinikan? No. That's why I asked the question. So why? Why can't they do it? Trust me. Because some people say, I'm not like other people will be like,
well, if they mutually agree that okay, then that's fine. But it is not safe to
do that. Okay, so thank you. So my next question to you is, how does a deed of assignment impart existing mortgages, loans, and other encumbrances on a said property?
Okay. A deed does not extinguish or exonerate any encumbrances on the What I mean by that is because they said an assignor wants to sell his property, the one you already got a loan with, or by any actions, if there is a lend placed on that property. You understand? You cannot, because you prepared a deed of assignment, have transferred your ownership to the assignee, and all of the liabilities and encumbrances will be forgiven, or will be exonerated, or will disappear. No. You understand? As soon as you are transferring all of the ownership, you are transferring all of the debt, obligations, and encumbrances to the assignee.
Yeah, to the new owner.
To the new owner.
Because not everybody will. This assignee, assignor.
Yeah, okay, to the new owner, the new buyer.
This is a mini school of law, no? So by the end of this school, you would have understand what
I
an
think we should just use
is.
the name. Once it is under contract of sale, you use the vendor and purchaser. But once you've upgraded this transaction, you are closing the deal, and you must ensure it is assignor and assignee.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you very, very much for that. I know that in the previous episode, the first section, you have answered that. But the reason why I'm asking is because some people might just miss it, and this is very, very important. So it's better we just reiterate some of these points. So guys, the impact of your deed of assignment has nothing to do with the currency you are taking away from you, which is why you said you must do due diligence. All right, so let's talk about dispute resolution. This is the part that I feel like is where the deed of assignment is doing its work, kind of. I don't know. So the question I have under this section is, what happens if a dispute arises between the assignor and the assignee regarding the deed of assignment or the property? Not just the deed of assignment, regarding the property.
Okay, well, we cannot be so sure that in the property transaction there won't be, lapses or lacunas that can lead to disputes. So for a comprehensive or well-drafted deed, it should come with a dispute resolution clause.
Okay.
You're right? And whatever the party agrees as to solving their dispute should be what they, expressly state in the dispute resolution clause. So I will recommend alternative dispute resolution before thinking of going to court. So for every good deed or well-drafted deed, there must be a dispute resolution clause that encourage parties to, set up an arbitral panel for themselves when the dispute arises. I mean, you choose someone for yourself, the other person should, and you choose who's going to be your mediator or arbitrator. So, and also they should ensure that whatever is coming out from that arbitration is binding on them. I mean, the arbitral award. Yeah. So they must also ensure that the provisions state that the arbitral award will be binding on both parties. So that's way they already settles unforeseen dispute or situations that can arise.
Okay. So you're saying, okay, what I'm taking away from this is that every deed of assignment has a dispute clause.
Must have the dispute resolution clause, where they say we are going to settle this way. Even if you choose to say, okay, it is a communal land, okay, there will be an Oba. We're going to settle this in the front of Oba. It won't surpass this. You understand? So they should both agree as to ways they feel they want to settle. But ideally, I always encourage and recommend ADR, that's alternative dispute resolution. And if peradventure that didn't work, then they should institute, action in court to address that.
Okay, thank you. But so extension to that question is, we've seen a whole lot, and Nigerian real estate market is just a very peculiar market, and that's why I said people should not compare the Nigerian market with a US or a Canada.
All right.
Now we know that certain properties encroachment is like a thing for us in this market. So let's say that a real estate company bought the property, and then they were encroached, and then unfortunately they lost this estate, and they have allocated people who invested in this estate. They have been given deed of assignment. In fact, let me give you a case scenario of someone that has even registered that deed. This is what happened, and now the land has been encroached, and probably the family, the greedy family, they've sold that estate to somebody else. What happens to those investors?
Oh well, all they can do, they can still do, is to hold the developers responsible, and the onus lies on the developer to as well, and address them on how he wants to resolve the dispute better. Because in cases like that, although if one does their due diligence very well, you barely fall into they've given land, they withdraw the land, or no of those kind of situations.
I feel like due diligence sometimes does not show far into the future what these greedy families can do.
Oh well, if you do your due diligence very well, yeah, you to a certain extent you can foresee what will happen, what can happen.
Okay, let me give you a scenario.
Okay.
All these families, they are bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. They have ranks, and then sometimes you see situations where resettlement, for instance, they now go to court. One time the court says this is win, they go to another court, higher, whatever you guys go to, and then they say, oh, this other court, they have now given back possession to this. What happened in that situation? Okay. How does someone foresee that coming?
To start with, no developer should stake people's money on a project or a property that is still subject to dispute. Are
you saying 100% you can see it coming?
Of course, yes, you can see it. And for a corporate body and organization, I feel much is expected. So if you are buying a land from a family and you have been able to do your homework well and your due diligence well, you should understand the dispute before you begin to give people assurance to bring their hard-earned money.
There wasn't a dispute. If I'm just this scenario now.
Okay.
Let's say we bought this property now. There's no dispute anywhere. Nothing. At that first section, you were explaining how you must ensure that every is represented.
Yeah. That if it's a family land.
It's a family land. Now it's a family land now. This scenario. Okay. Now Idigi was duly represented, and then some Idigi just feels like I can go and encroach, and I just go and I'm hungry. You know how these guys are? They're hungry, they don't have money, they just go and start encroaching. Yeah. That's the scenario I'm painting to you.
Yeah, but in this sense now, we cannot let the purchasers, the assignees, or the clients to take risks for the corporate body.
No, when I'm not talking about them, of course they will not.
Yeah, no, it's for the company, not the developer, who is in direct contact with the family that is having dispute, to find the easiest way
to resolve
possible to amicably settle the dispute.
I know.
And not let it affect the interest of their subscribers.
So this now gets me to my question itself.
Okay.
That in a situation why they were not trying to resolve that means that deed that has been lodged is invalid.
Oh, I mean, how? Because in the first place, if a matter is still pending, determination.
They've done allocation. They've given a deed to you as a client. You have gone to register your deed, and then you are going to sleep because you just feel like.
Okay, and this is on that kind of land. If the land is not available, if it's not available for the developer again, then the deed and every other document is invalid. Yeah.
All right, I just wanted to.
Yeah.
All right, so next question. Are you ready?
Very much ready, please.
Okay. What are the best practices for preparing and executing the deed of assignments to ensure smooth transfer of ownership?
Okay. As the parties mutually agree, either of them can draft it. So, if party A agrees to draft, so when you are done drafting the deed of assignment, you are expected to pass a draft copy to party B to review it, check every obligations rights. If he is okay with it, then you proceed to print the final copy for signing. And if not, there should be a discussion with the negotiation on the terms they want to, check and balance. So once that is agreed, they print out a final copy that should be signed. Basically, I recommend people should, at least print out a final copy, like 6 copies. It must be signed by the parties in the presence of their witness. And most importantly, like I mentioned in the initial episode, that it must be franked by a lawyer, right? And
What does that
executed.
mean?
Yeah, I mean,
It's drafted by a lawyer.
drafted and at
Signed.
least certified by a lawyer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So, do you mean that lawyer seal must be on it?
Yeah, but that's part of the franking too.
Okay. I just wanted to
Yeah.
put it in simple.
Okay, the word franking.
Simple terms. Yes, exactly. So that there's no misunderstanding
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
So from all of this we've been talking about, this deed of assignment, it now appears that it's a very, very strong document when it comes to, right?
Yeah, it's a very major instrument in property acquisition, property transfer, property ownership. Cannot
Now,
do without it.
We've been talking about the transfer of deed of assignment between buyer, seller, buyer, seller, buyer, seller. What other ways can deed of assignment be transferred? Not exactly transaction. Can it be done by a gift?
Yeah, we have so many deeds, and if it's now by gift, then you don't have a deed of assignment. You have a deed of gift.
Okay, so before I know that we mentioned briefly deed of gift in one of the episodes. Now, before you go in depth into it, please, can you also tell us the type of deeds that we have?
Oh, we have several others deeds.
Okay.
You understand? Whatever the situation or scenario looks like around the transaction determines the kind of deed you will draft.
Okay.
Just for a regular, I want to buy, I want to sell, you go with a deed of assignment to assign all your rights and ownership.
Okay.
If you are coming to say, oh, you are leasing or under sublease, then you have a deed of lease.
Okay.
You understand? If it's a matter of a borrower and a lender, you understand, then you have a deed of mortgage.
Okay.
Right? So, and if it's you did something that makes me happy and I graciously want to give you this thing, then you have a deed of gift. So unlike in a deed of assignment, when you're transferring ownership, you say in the consideration of 150 million for the 4-bedroom apartment duplex, once it comes to gift, it will be in the compensation. Yeah, because the person is gifting you graciously.
Like,
you are not paying.
Not gifting
It's still coming. So you're not paying anything. So there's no consideration, but a compensation. So that's like majorly other deeds that we have. So it's not like necessary deed of assignment, but a deed must be this instrument that transfer the true ownership in a property transaction.
So again, let's come back briefly, touch on deed of gift, just so in case then we also touch on it. But since we're talking about deed of assignment, let's touch on deed of gift. Now, deed of gift. Now, you said you also must be registered as well. So does it mean that every deed of lease, deed of assignment, deed of gifts, deed of what's the fourth one?
Lease.
Deed of lease, deed of assignment, deed of gifts, and deed of
mortgage.
Must all of this be registered as well?
Yeah, every deed must be registered to make it verifiable. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
Do we really have deed of people that buy houses through? So does this mean that people that buy houses through mortgages, what they have is deed of mortgage?
That buy house through mortgage.
Yes. It's deed of assignment.
No, it's deed of assignment, just like the process in which you are, paying the money.
So where does deed of mortgage come in?
It comes between a mortgagee and a mortgagor. It's between the lender and the borrower. So if I want to borrow 100 million from you, now I have a property that worth 200 million. I'll come to you to say, this is my property, to take this money. So what we are drafting to protect us is a deed of mortgage, and it must be registered.
So let me break it down for you so that I'm sure that I hear you.
Okay.
When a mortgage house, I go to a mortgage house, I want to buy a property from you. The mortgage house, or I go to a mortgage house, I want to buy a property from this company A. The mortgage house would have a deed of mortgage with me, and I have a deed of assignment with the seller, right?
No.
Is that the triangle?
No. Well, basically, for a mortgage transaction, it's always like you have a property already, and you need some money.
That's what I'm saying.
You understand? So it is between you and the bank, the lender, that you are going to draft a deed
of mortgage.
Yeah.
And then I have my deed of assignment for the house from the seller.
No, no, when you
When
say
I'm done
when you
buying,
say
paying.
deed of mortgage, yeah,
Mm.
it comes with a lot.
Okay.
Like, how do I put it? There are so many, what's it called? Duty and how do I put it? When you say, okay, you've draft a deed of mortgage, it doesn't mean like all of the property is going directly. If there's a default, let's say, okay, I'm going to pay this money at so, and you didn't pay, you have to. That is when the person can exercise what's it called, foreclosure on that property, and owns and do whatever they want to do. But if you're able to pay the money you collected or borrow, of course you will.
You're the owner.
Yeah, you have your property back. I've forgotten there's this word they use. You have you have the property back to you. So it's not like it will be exercised, it will be perfected or to the.
I understand what you're saying
Yeah.
now. If I want to buy a finished house, that's the scenario you painted now. I'm painting a scenario of I'm getting into an off-land project and I need the bank to loan me money to pay for the house.
Oh yeah, well I really don't.
And even with the finished house, no, it's the same thing actually. Even with the finished house, when I pay for, okay, I think I understand. Sorry, I'm not intending to confuse you
Yeah.
people. So the scenario you painted is I have my house already, but I need loan. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No, but the scenario I'm painting is I want to buy a house. I don't have money, and I go to the bank to give me the money to buy the house.
Well, I'm not sure that works like that. I'm not sure it works like that in this country, because if you're going to buy a property, I believe, and you want to go through the process of mortgage, it is between the property selling, the company selling to you, to link you with a lender. So there are other paperwork within them.
So there's no deed of mortgage there.
No, that's not where deed of mortgage comes in.
So the deed of mortgage is precisely when I'm taking a loan. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm sure somebody at home too is not getting it the way. Yeah. Now I've gotten it like me, Abi. Because for us, no confusion. Yeah, because I'm also learning, and like when you said deed of mortgage, what came to my head was our usual as a real estate person.
And the basic reason for registering deed of mortgage, is just to create an awareness that this social house sitting here, there is so you don't go ahead to say you want to, okay, now say you want to, you borrow money from bank and you want to sell. So if you want to sell the kind of property, only if the buyer did not
do a due diligence,
he will buy. But once they do their diligence and they check, once they verify, they see that this property
is under
there's an encumbrance, there's a lien on it.
So who is in a case of this deed of mortgage, who is responsible for lodging? The bank?
Yeah, bank does all of this.
They go and lodge it straight, so that they secure
they have the interest to be protected. They have they have their money with you, and they must make sure you don't sell the property behind them, so they lodge it. Yeah.
Okay, so deed of gift now, who is responsible for lodging it? Me? That's been gifted?
Yeah.
People should give me now for my birthday now. You
are the one to perfect your own,
the gift. But so what do I stand to lose if I don't perfect it?
I mean, it's not verifiable. It's not a registered one.
I want to transfer it.
Well, I'm not sure you can enforce that. You understand? Because when it is not registered, it becomes revocable.
Really?
Yeah, it becomes revocable.
No duration.
No, there's no duration. But it happens a lot. I mean, when maybe because you're able to make the man happy and be like, okay, I gift you this house.
Is it very expensive to lodge?
Well, it depends upon we cannot really give it because it determines the location, the price.
Range. Just give me range.
No, we can, like I said.
Let's say range, just range.
You cannot really tell until you go for your assessment. Yes. You cannot really tell until you go for your assessment.
Yeah, I've heard people come and ask me, give me an idea. You know when people ask you, how much will it take for me to get the CFO? And you say, you can't tell until you start. They say, give me a range.
You cannot really tell a range, although there are MDS, mandatory deposits, okay. But then they still need to, go through all of the papers and everything to do your assessment. Okay. But whichever way, if the property before the perfection of papers is like 100 million, and maybe you perfect your paper plus and minus assessment and all of these fees, maybe you spend like, let's say 35 million. Of course your property already appreciates.
Yeah.
At the point you have a valid paper. So you're not going to sell it the same amount. It's worth a lot. And it becomes an instrument
for assessment.
Yeah, it becomes an instrument to say you want to get money because they can value it. You understand? They can value it. So that's how it works.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much for tackling all of my questions. Now I have a very last one before I'll let you go, because I know that this one is getting long again, and
Right.
we agreed that it shouldn't be as long. It shouldn't be so very long, so that people don't get bored. And I mean, I also get bored with all these copyrights, beyonds, and signing, and no, feel okay. Why am I speaking? So I don't want you guys to. I have a client that is a lawyer in the US, which is what you'll be laughing at me like, look at this one. So yes, we've talked about the assignment, we flesh it out, obligations, I mean how to sort out dispute and all that. Do you have any other thing probably not touch that is regarding to the assignment that you had?
Well, basically I think we've touched the most important part of it. But then while you are drafting or you are reviewing, make sure you have a service of a property lawyer that guides your step down the line at every stage of it.
So that you don't,
to ensure
everything is okay.
Risk free. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's where we're going to be wrapping up today. Thank you so much to everybody who's been watching us. It's been a very great pleasure being with you guys today with my quiet almost a camera shy.
Yeah, camera shy.
Yes.
I don't like cams.
Oh my god. When I approached him and said we're going to do this, he said now we can have a conversation. The cameras will mean that was it. So honestly, I said after that first conversation, I was thinking, will we ever get to do this thing? Please now. And then I honestly want to appreciate you for doing this.
Thank God we are here.
I do really appreciate myself and the entire team. Thank you so much for
my pleasure
doing this for us. All right, guys. Again, I want to remind you to send in your question. Put your questions in the comment section. All the questions you have for him, I'll bring him back here, and then we are going to have to flesh everything out. If we flesh it out, not you. I'm still in the school. I'm still thinking about going to school.
Yeah.
To go and study law. But this mini school that we are in, you people and me, that we are in this learning. We
are all learning.
We're all learning. Now, something comes to my mind. I'm going to ask you this because I promise you.
Okay.
I know that it's going to be it's like almost a disaster when we see that somebody bought property and they didn't spoon feed, they just signed the deed, the witness. You know, a lot of the time this witness don't know anything about what you're saying. Just
right.
Will just call you. What sign is still by? The child will just sign, or the brother will just say that they don't even know what they have signed. So are they supposed to be aware of what they are signing now? You know, I know you said that each party must be understand what their obligations, what their rights are, and all of that. Now, for someone who is witnessing,
okay,
what is their own right and obligation? Are they binded by? Because I just implemented my signature on separate dates. What's their position?
It's just like they classify them like witness. All they are doing is I witnessed this transaction.
Even when they don't even know anything about it.
Yes. So instant. That is why sometimes they say, okay, as a new witness, you come from them. Someone that can say, okay, yeah, I was there when we are signing this and this.
So know what they were signing.
Yeah. So that's just it. They witness the transaction.
So they have no obligation or right or nothing is binding them.
Nothing really. Maybe just when there is an issue and
that's what I'm saying.
The court can say, okay, they are right people to call for.
So they are part of people they can call for questioning.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Because they witnessed it.
But if I was just a child and my dad say, goodness, what sign can he? And to be honest, I didn't even read what I signed.
Wow.
You know how you told us that we should always read everything we append our signature,
right.
And under the law, the moment you have append your signature,
you are bound.
So is a witness bound by what he has signed?
Actually, it's just a witness is just coming. It doesn't have any interest really.
Okay.
It's just saying, okay, I am here. I saw them. I was there. He did this.
they asked me to sign, and I signed.
Yeah, to be a witness. So
Okay.
it's not like
When you
maybe
not say go
like
to court and come and call you, they'll be
yeah,
like,
just like say let's say there's a dispute that eventually gets to come. Maybe they were unable to amicably settle it, and they need someone who can say, okay, what really happened? How does it happen? What the first person to call is the witness to say, okay, I
oh,
witnessed it and say whatever
you
your
can
eyes saw.
say. So
Mhm.
who would you say is best to be a witness?
A close person to the closest person to the parties. It could be anybody, or
But the
just
witness is usually for the assignee, not at the assignee.
both
Actually.
parties. Yeah, and in case of a complaint, you have the director and the secretary.
Okay, that's why for a company deed, when the secretary and director are signed,
Yeah.
it is only the part of the assignee that they
Yeah,
have
and most
the
likely they have
witness
their company
area.
seal on
Yes,
it.
on the deed of assignment.
Yeah, so when it is individual, it must be the party name and the witness. Somebody might.
Okay, so the assignee too must have a witness.
If it's not a corporate body,
yes,
you must execute the deed in front of, in the presence of both witness.
Okay, so coming back still on this, so in the case of now deed of gift, you need a witness as well.
Of course, we have to witness.
Every deed needs to.
Yeah, you must witness.
Whether
it.
it's
Yeah, you must witness it.
Oh, okay.
You must be a witness to it.
Okay. All right. I mean, that just dropped, and promise that's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching today's episode. Now, aside you putting your questions in the comment section, tell us all of this we discussed today. What do you think about every answers he has given to these questions? What do you think about the questions? Do you still want to dig further on a particular question? That is why you should be putting down your question in the comment section. But if there's somebody that don't comment online, no problem, it's fine. Just send it to us via WhatsApp. I mean, the WhatsApp number is scrolling on the screen. Just send it to me and say, oh, hey, goodness, this is my question. Please ask the lawyer on the lesson. And I promise you, we're going to put down those questions and then segment them together and then ask my Oga Ubunge property lawyer. Thank you. Please see, off the camera has told me, so that's I'm always saying it. These questions is part of the ginger why we continue to do this pro bono. You people are enjoying this show, so you should put your question out there. Let's get all of your questions and then let's get to treat them. So please, I hope you're enjoying your weekend. You're having a lovely Sunday with your family. You're relaxing. Please relaxing. Relaxation is important too. Hey, it's not work. Try and relax so I can get your energy back. And not just relax. Try and exercise. No. Yes, I'm an advocate for exercise as well. Because that's one of the most good way to also relax as well. So, as usual, we're sending good wishes your way this new week. May God Almighty guide your path, light your path. He will guide your going out and coming in. You and yours, He will protect you. No evil will befall you and your family. Don't forget that we got very good deals in our portfolio at Nigeria Real Estate. In 47, we have properties across Lagos. We have property in Abuja, in Ibadan, and also Ogun State. All you need to do is dial the number scrolling on your screen right away, and we can help you secure any of the properties you are interested in within our portfolio, or maybe another one you see out there that you want us to help you go ahead with this. So yes, we'll be waiting for your call, please. Until then, ensure that you watching me, you remain safe and awesome just the way you are. Don't forget that my name remains Goodness Usman, your beautiful host and the queen of land of and hey, until next week when we come your way on the Ask a Lawyer segment on the Tea Talk with Goodness Usman show, please we say to you, what?